and rise together for the call to
Okay. And so today is the holiday of Yom Kippur, and
Yom Kippur.
that's what this film
All day.
is about. So just tell me about what that kind of means to you, and like what's your understanding of it?
So every year, that's the thing I like about Judaism. It changes the way that you change because every year you're different. Some of the texts and things are the same, but Yom Kippur, it's the Day of Atonement. And the first time I heard that, I'm like, well, what does atonement mean? Just as a word. But it's sort of repairing for your misdeeds or things that you may have done wrong over the past year, to kind of reflect on those and say, okay, here's the things I've done wrong. Either misdeeds in relation to God or misdeeds in relation to other people or the planet, and to kind of go through those things and try to atone or repair those things.
I think that Yom Kippur is used as a way to kind of reflect on the past year and just like the things you did, and use it just to better yourself.
So for me, the holidays are really about tradition and connecting to the community and just the history of my family. So I do try to spend some time thinking about how I can be a better person or what I want for the next year. But for me, it's mostly about the connections.
So I think Yom Kippur is special because it gives me a chance to forgive people who I'm mad at. And that can be really difficult if they did something really mean. And it's hard for me to think about, like, what did I do wrong? Because I think of myself as, like, a good person. But then when I really think about it, I'm like, oh man, I do a lot of gossiping.
So I'm Rabbi Lucy Dinner. I'm the senior rabbi at Temple Beth Or in Raleigh, North Carolina. So Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement, and the word atonement, if you break it down, is at one-ment, that we are returning to God and returning to ourselves and recentering our lives, that we can stand before God with integrity.
So Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are two very closely connected holidays. Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the High Holy Days, and Yom Kippur marks the ending. So the big deal about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, there's this prayer called the Unatana Tokef. And this tells about a book of life. And the book of life is God writing down what's going to happen to you in the coming year.
On Yom Kippur, that's when that book is closed. And so that's who's going to live, who's going to die, how you're going to die, what pain, what suffering, all that kind of things that we recite in service. That's, traditionally that's when the book is sealed.
So you got to make sure you pray very much during the 10 High Holy Days.
Who by fire and who by water, who by war and who by peace, who by famine and who by drought, who by earthquake and who by plague, who by strangling and who by stoning, who will rest and who will wander, who will be tranquil and who will be troubled, who will be calm and who is tormented, who will live in poverty and who in prosperity, who will be humbled and who will fall.
So a lot of people don't know about the holiday Yom Kippur, or a lot of Jewish holidays, but so what's typically done on Yom Kippur, and how do you observe the holiday personally versus how other people? Just tell me a little bit about the day.
Okay, so it starts the night before at sundowns when the holiday kind of officially starts. There is services at the temple. It's called Kol Nidre. It's a prayer that's said during that time. We don't always go to the evening one before because we're kind of prepping and having a meal and things together. But the next morning when we get up on Yom Kippur, we'll usually go to the services, either the kids or teen service, because we have kids and teens, so we go to that one. and then we'll go to the morning service after that.
Welcome to Temple Bethor. I invite you to find your seats as we get ready to worship. I'm Rabbi Leah Citron, and along with Rabbi Lucy Dinner and Zemmer Lexi Newell.
I do like to have some time in there for personal reflection, or a time where I'm not around these people, and I traditionally had that in the afternoon after the service. I like to journal, or I like to, do that self-reflection part.
So as she mentioned, you have to pray a lot, but part of that is you have to repent and say sorry for hurting everybody, and that's you have to both apologize to the people that you hurt 3 times.
Nice.
And then part of that is we also repent at temple through different prayers, such as the Ashamnu, which goes through the Hebrew alphabet, and each one is a different thing, such as we scorn or we betray, and it says a sin that we may have committed over the year, and it's repenting for all of the sins in a communal sense.
And another part of it is that you have to apologize to God for sinning as well. So it's apologizing to a lot of people and just a lot of releasing of sins.
How does it feel for you personally?
Honestly, it doesn't feel that different immediately, but then you don't have to dwell on all the things that you've done wrong because you already released that.
You don't just have to apologize 3 times. You also have to take any steps towards reparation that you can. For example, if you hit someone's car with your car, you can't just say I'm sorry 3 times. You have to try to take steps to make it better, like offer to repair their car or pay for their car's repairs.
And I do spend the whole day in temple. It helps me to kind of stay focused on the holiday as opposed to getting distracted by other things, and definitely helps me follow the not eating for the whole day by being there the whole day.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, I go back through and I kind of catalog some of the things that may have happened throughout the year, but sometimes it's hard to remember those things. So I really use it as a time to say, okay, now going forward, how am I going to make myself accountable for knowing when I may have had a misdeed? And one of the things that I like about Judaism, if you already asked me that question before, it focuses more on the deeds. It's not that you're a bad person or you've committed the sin. Is not that you're a bad person. It's more about what actions or deeds did you do. It's more about the behavior than it is about the actual person. And so, sometimes we want to beat ourselves up a little bit when we do something wrong or fail. Trying to have compassion not just for humanity in general, but for myself also in that time period. I think compassion is not just about other people; it's about yourself too.
But also, a big part of Yom Kippur is fasting.
Yes.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry are you right now?
Yeah. So with fasting, with me, every year it's something different. I'm not really it's not the hunger part of it. It's more of without the food, you recognize you need food. And I think that's important. And we're practicing the act of self-denial. We're denying ourselves food. And food is a component that kind of links your body with your spirit, because without food, your spirit leaves your body. So food is an important part. So that part of it, and also helps you connect with people who don't have food, or it makes you think more about, gee, what am I like when I don't have food? And so I feel more the weakness in my world gets smaller whenever I don't eat. And so doing things I normally don't even have to think about, I really have to intentionally do it, because without food, I don't think clearly, like right now, finding words, same thing. But it also, if you look in some of the religions, and Judaism in particular, it kind of gets your mind ready for either sort of more mystical or self reflection, because without the food, like I said, you're not up being as active. You're more kind of in your head. Also, something else we do, speaking of food, since we're talking about that, is that we give food away, usually to the food bank. It's a traditional kind of time to give food away. And what's become a tradition with our Havara, or our social group, is that we host Break the Fast. So breaking the fast in the evening, it's become our tradition, is something we look forward to. So
And what is Break the Fast for those?
that's when you start eating again.
So it's kind of probably the most
You break
exciting part.
The fast. And so everybody comes over, they bring a dish, or we provide some food, and then just in this space we break the fast together.
Daddy, what are we about to do?
We're going to bless the bread and haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Just pass it around.
All
This
right,
one too.
have some,
When
and then
we
we'll
run
bless
out.
the...
And then we'll do the wine.
Oh, you're very picky.
She's been eyeballing that piece for hours.
It's a lot of joy to be eating together for the first time after a while.
I know my stomach is already wanting that. Looking forward to Break the Fast. We still got a few hours.
That's okay.
What's going on here?
Well, we're hosting a Break the Fast for our Havara, which is our social group from the temple. There's 6 families. We're breaking the fast together at the end of Yom Kippur. And so it's become a tradition for us to host it because we live really close to the temple.
People like to.
So everybody else lives really far.
Yeah, so what do we got going on here? What's like some traditional?
It's really hard to prepare when you're really hungry. Traditional food, the challah is the most traditional food. And then we have bagels and cream cheese and lox.
Okay, so tell me about what is this weird pink thing?
This is smoked salmon, also known as lox. And traditionally this is eaten on a bagel with cream cheese.
Is it good?
It's delicious.
I fast, and I also am at temple like all day, which is not always pleasant, especially since I'm very hungry. But it's really cool because then there's a lot of food that you can eat afterwards, and you just kind of have to try not to get sick.
What are you getting here?
Bagel with cream cheese.
Nice. Yeah.
Very Jewish.
It's very Jewish.
Wait, let's make a start, David.
Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom, Lehitraot, Lehitraot, Shalom, Shalom. Goodbye, my friends, goodbye, my friends, goodbye, goodbye. Till we meet again, till we meet again, goodbye, goodbye.
Yay! Goodbye. And that's a wrap, everyone.
No.
Just exit the screen. Exit. Get out of here.
No.
Get out. Leave Avery. Leave Avery there by himself.